Hey, let me ask you a question and answer honestly. Let's say that someone breaks into your house, points a gun at you, threatens you, and steals your stuff. Let's say that's something that's been happening all over your neighborhood for a while. You've heard stories about this burglar. You know that if you resist, if you try and stop them, they will shoot you. They will kill you. But even if you play along, even if you do everything they say, they might still kill you. Would you be in the right, morally speaking, to shoot that person after they'd entered your home? This isn't a trick question. Do you think that'd be okay? Would you condemn someone or judge them for doing that? Would shooting the burglar be self-defense or would it be murder? Now let's tweak the question a little. Let me know if it changes anything for you. Let's say you've never in your life committed a crime. Nothing. Not one. You've never even pirated a song or smoked a joint or anything like that. And one night, the police mistakenly break into your home. They point a gun at you, demand that you get on the floor, threaten to arrest you, and then use civil asset forfeiture to take a bunch of your shit. Let's say, also, that you are black and police murdering, assaulting, and locking up people has been the background radiation of your entire life. You know that even if you comply, there's a strong possibility you end up dead. Now, I'm not going to ask you the same question here because an honest answer would put you on a watch list. I'm just trying to illustrate a point. The state calls its own violence law, but that of the individual crime. The subject of crime has been on all of our minds lately. What it is, how to stop it, who is committing it, when or if it can ever be justified or tolerated, what methods are and are not appropriate to deal with it, what methods are and are not effective to deal with it. I don't think I need to state this context, but for posterity's sake, over the past couple of weeks, an enormous protest movement has erupted against police brutality in the United States, particularly, though by no means exclusively, against black people. After the murder of George Floyd, a father of five who allegedly tried to use a counterfeit $20 bill, something that anyone could do by accident, and was murdered by police in broad daylight in front of bystanders as he begged for his life. Floyd is the latest in a centuries-long line of black Americans whose lives were tragically ended by a justice system weaponized against them. And nobody human could hear that story and not be angry, not recognize the injustice. Likewise, nobody could see the protests that erupted in grief and anger all over the world in reaction as anything but a demand that this senseless waste of human life be brought to an end once and for all. But to call into question the state's violence and to stand together to demand that changes be made presents a problem for liberal democracy. Liberal democracy is based on a foundational myth, one that you were taught in school, one that I bet a lot of people in the audience still believe. Long ago, the story goes, the overwhelming majority of human beings were ruled by kings and queens, emperors and nobles. These rulers held power simply because nobody ever thought of anything better, until one day a bunch of people got together, sang the songs of angry men, and fought to get rid of the monarchs and established governments all over the world that ruled by the consent of the governed. Now there are no rulers, simply a society of free people whose decisions shape the course of that society. And sure, that freedom wasn't extended to everyone equally at first, but there were wars and battles and movements that arose to fix those problems, and against great odds they triumphed. And now, finally, the law protects us all. Finally, the government works for us. The tyrants have all been extinguished, and we have entered into a better world, where no one has power over anyone else without earning it first. See, now you've got something to lose. You've got all these rights and freedoms, granted to you, of course, by a benevolent state. And you don't want to risk the stability and comparative freedom of modern representative democracy to make small changes. There are mechanisms within these governments to make changes. So you just vote for the guys who say they want to make those changes. And if they don't happen, then oh well, I guess people didn't want them to. So when an enormous mass of people stands up and says, we will not take this anymore, and the majority of the public sympathize with them, that story suddenly has a crack in it. If the government only does what people ask it to do, then how is it possible for so many people to want to end police brutality, and it does not get done? It doesn't even get put on the table. And furthermore, when people ask for it, they are brutally suppressed. Martial law is declared. Rubber bullets and tear gas are fired at protesters, journalists, and whoever else happens to be around, even children. The National Guard rolls in with Humvees and black helicopters. Thousands of cops in riot armor come beating their shields with batons to stop protesters, chanting slogans at them. They arrest people for speaking. They beat them for being in the wrong place. They drive cars into crowds. You can see in real time people waking up to the fundamental illegitimacy of the state. Within weeks, they have been made to understand that police reform is not enough, because as long as the police have the power to kill, they will use it, no matter how they are regulated, no matter how they are trained. They should not have that power. It must be taken away from them. And this is an existential problem for politicians, cops, and the wealthy. If people realize that your power over them is just as illegitimate as the divine right of kings, what is to stop them from taking that power away? To fight back directly and not filter their demands through the system you have engineered to stop them. They need a news story. One that would explain why people's demands weren't being met without conceding that they never truly intended to meet them. They came up with two, and ran with both, just to make sure they got their message out there. The first was the outside agitator narrative. You see, people in these protests don't actually want to defund the police, or abolish the police, or even really to end police brutality, because everyone is actually fine with police brutality. Everybody likes it. But here's the thing, a bunch of far-left radicals co-opted these protests, which, must I remind you, were about nothing, to push their nefarious communist agenda. Now, speaking as a far-left radical trying to push an agenda, it's not that easy. If you show up to a place where a bunch of people are angry, you can't just chant a slogan and change their mind about what they should be angry about. It's also very telling that the demands of the far left, who in the minds of the people spreading this narrative are everyone from the mayor of Minneapolis to Bernie Sanders to white anarchist agitators, are all fundamentally illegitimate. The government respects the concerns of the people, unless those people are the far left, in which case their concerns are beneath consideration, naturally, because their concerns are just trickery. The second was the idea that these protests are illegitimate because they were too violent. Never mind that these protests are overwhelmingly peaceful until the cops show up and started cracking skulls. To respond to their violence with violence of your own to defend yourself is crime. You're doing a crime and you can't be listened to if you're doing crimes. By the way, also, we decide what is and is not a crime. And isn't that interesting? That the police can break their own rules without losing legitimacy. But if you don't comply, you lose yours. Hey, look, we got an election coming up. Just vote for the guy who will do the thing you want, even though both candidates, and even the third candidate, who we decided was too radical to let you vote for, have all said that they don't support the thing you want. Look, this is a free country. You can speak your mind, but that doesn't give you the right to go out there and violate a curfew that we established to prevent you from speaking your mind. So here's the real noodle scratcher. How come when people defend themselves from police with violence, that's illegitimate? That's not how things are done. It invalidates their concerns and undermines their movement. Their demand to a life free of suppression and random terrorist violence is beneath consideration unless they ask for it according to the rules they had no hand in creating and which are changing in real time to prevent them from being heard. But when cops are violent for no good reason, when they lie, steal, and kill, they are defended and upheld by the entire institution of policing. When their fellow officers stand by and allow their brutality to continue, or worse, join in, no one thinks that invalidates their supposed mandate to maintain order. The question then must be asked, what would it take for them to lose their legitimacy? Could anything make them lose it? And if not, what makes them different from those kings and queens before them? If we can't revoke their legitimacy, then the truth is staring us in the face. Their legitimacy is not granted to them by the will of the people. It is by the will of our rulers. Hello and welcome to the Eyeball Zone. Here in the Eyeball Zone, we unleash the wrath of the elder opticals upon unsuspecting small leftist projects. Never again shall the veil of cosmic eyelids remain closed as long as our blasphemy continues. Mohammed Hassan is producing a podcast called The Left-Wing Propaganda Machine, discussing topics like the stability of capitalism, contemporary masculinity, and what that even means, and how we can change the world for the better. It's worth pointing out that Mohammed is only 17 and he's already got a podcast with good politics. If I had a podcast at 17, it would not be this chill, and I'm very glad I did not. Check it out if you want to feel a little hope that the next generation might sort their shit out better than this one did. Instructions to damn yourself to an eternity of torment within the gaping iris of Lord Oculon can be found in the description of this video. Hey everybody, I hope you liked the video. If you did, press the like button, subscribe, all that stuff. You know the drill. In the description to this video, you will find a link to a fund that is raising money for over 70 plus bail funds, mutual aid organizations, and racial justice groups. Consider making a donation there if you can, if you're able. If not, you could also spread the link around, tweet it to people, send it to people, you know, that type of thing. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check out more of my videos at youtube.com/scaredycatstv. That's my second channel where I go to talk about horror movies. I also stream every 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now I'm fluctuating between Twitch and YouTube. I think I'm going to get a better audience, or rather, not a better audience, but a bigger audience on YouTube. So if you want to know where I'm streaming every 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday, then just follow me on Twitter where I will announce it. Stay safe out there. Stay safe out there.